Hey guys, ready for video number 3, which is writing. And so as always, you're welcome to write with me like we do at school. You don't have to. You can just watch and maybe think of ideas in your head. Or if I ask a question or something, you can respond to yourself. Or just watch and enjoy watching a video. You don't have to write with me. You don't have to participate. You can just watch a video and listen to a story, right? No big deal. So here's the third time listening to our story, The Old Man's Mitten. And if you recall, in the other videos, we've worked on the sounds that the animals make that helped us be able to read the words in here because we already had an idea what was coming. Like we thought about how a mouse would sound. A mouse squeaks. So when we got to the word squeaked in the story, we were able to think instead of being like, oh my goodness, that's a big scary word, I better not try it. We were able to think about, well, this is how a mouse would sound, right? Just like the dog, woof, woof. It barked, right? Because that's the sound that they make, right? The frog croaked, right? That's the sound they make. So we didn't have to panic when we got to a tricky word that we didn't know, right? We used our brain and we were ready, weren't we? So here we go, The Old Man's Mitten. This is the third time of me reading the story to you, and if you've been a good listener, you're ready to take an AR test after this video. So, The Old Man's Mitten. Once upon a time, an old man went for a walk in the woods with his dog. He dropped one of his mittens in the snow as he went on his way. Along came Munch Crunch Mouse. She looked inside the mitten. She hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, she squeaked. So Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. Then came Hop Stop Frog. He looked inside the mitten. He hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, he croaked. So Hop Stop Frog and Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. Next came Fleet Feet Rabbit. She looked inside the mitten. She hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, she snuffled. So Fleet Feet Rabbit, Hop Stop Frog, and Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. They were just right. Soon came Smiley Wily Fox. He looked inside the mitten. He hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, he yapped. So Smiley Wily Fox, Fleet Feet Rabbit, Hop Stop Frog, and Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. They were getting rather crowded. Later came Howly Prowly Wolf. She looked inside the mitten. She hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, she growled. So Howly Prowly Wolf, Smiley Wily Fox, Fleet Feet Rabbit, Hop Stop Frog, and Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. They were getting very crowded. At last came Rumbly I read that wrong. I'm sorry. The grr part comes first. Let me try that again. At last came Grumbly Rumbly Bear. He looked inside the mitten. He hopped inside the mitten. It was warm and soft. This is where I'll live, he roared. So Grumbly Rumbly Bear, Howly Prowly Wolf, Smiley Wily Fox, Fleet Feet Rabbit, Hop Stop Frog, and Munch Crunch Mouse curled up inside. They were extremely crowded. Just then they heard the old man's dog. Woof, woof, it barked. Out of the mitten tumbled Grumbly Rumbly Bear, Howly Prowly Wolf, Smiley Wily Fox, Fleet Feet Rabbit, Hop Stop Frog, and Munch Crunch Mouse. Let's go, roared Grumbly Rumbly Bear. I'm off, growled Howly Prowly Wolf. Goodbye, yapped Smiley Wily Fox. See you later, snuffled Fleet Feet Rabbit. I'm going too, croaked Hop Stop Frog. Oh dear, squeaked Munch Crunch Mouse. It was so warm and soft. They all ran off into the woods. Along came the old man and his dog. The man picked up his mitten and went on his way, and that was the end of that. All right, so there's our third time reading the story this week. Now, I'm excited about what we're going to write today. So, if you need to get something to write with or write on, then you can pause the video and grab something to write with or write on. Or if you just want to watch and listen and find out what I'm writing about today, I'm going to bend this down some so my board is visible. And I told you my plan was to write about another animal that might get into the, all right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that little hiccup, guys. My kids came bursting in the front door and made a lot of noise, so I had to pause the video for a minute. So I was getting ready to tell you about what I'm going to write about today. I'm going to add another animal to the mix who joined the mitten, right? Maybe you can guess who the animal's going to be. Have you seen this guy somewhere before? Maybe on the morning announcements all the time at school, Tyrannosaurus Rex. However, I'm not going to write out his whole name, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm just going to call him T-Rex for short. Okay? He's going to sit over here and watch us write. So, remember, you do not have to write. You can write if you want to. You don't have to. It is not required. Okay? So here's my sentence. And remember how the animals had funny names, like Munch Crunch Mouse and Hop Stop Frog? He's going to be Smashy Slashy T-Rex, because he can smash and he can slash. Probably not with these little guys, but definitely with these. Okay? So here's my sentence. Just listen. Next came Smashy Slashy T-Rex. This is where I'll live, thundered T-Rex, and in he went. So I chose to use a talking word for this guy, thundered, because he's so big and he's so loud. It would be a bigger sound than the bear made, and the bear roared. So I needed to come up with a word that would be a bigger sound than the bear. So I chose thundered. Now I'm going to be doing most of the writing. We're just going to work on a few words. The first word of the sentence is next. So that's a good one to put into boxes. So watch me. You don't have to do this. You don't have to draw the boxes. You can just watch me and help me figure it out. So the word is next. So next. Okay? What sound did you hear first in next? N. Yeah, an N. All right, let's listen for the next sound. N. Like egg and elephant. That is an E. All right, let's listen for the next sound. It's my favorite. N. X. What letter makes that sound? An X. You're right. All right, now we're listening for the last sound. Here we go. N. X. What do you hear? It's a T. That's right. Now remember, we practice in boxes, then we practice without boxes. N. X. Next. Am I right? All right. I'm going to cover it up and write it again. I wonder if I'll get it right. Here we go. You can do it with me if you want. N. X. Next. Let's check and see if I got it right. Next. I did get it right. That word is next. All right, so it's the beginning of our sentence. So how does the N need to look? Does it need to be tall or small? It needs to be tall. It needs to be a capital letter. Next. Next. The next word is next came. And that's a word that most of us know how to write. We've practiced it a lot already. Came. Silent E. Remember that? Maybe I should practice it one more time. Came. Silent E. Came. I'm going to cover it up and try it. Ready? Came. That's a good one to be able to write fast, right? And when you guys worked with me in lessons, remember I'd tell you to write it as small as you can, write it itty bitty. I still had to be able to read it. Came, and then write it as fast as you can. Came. All right, that's a good one to practice. Let's add it to our story. Next, good space. Check your space. Next came. I'm making a mess. It's hard to write. Turned around like this. Next came smashy, slashy. Okay, so smashy. What's that first part that we hear? Sm, sm. What two letters make that blend? Sm, 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 sh. What two letters say sh? That's right, sh. And then smash, E. It sounds like an E, but it's a Y. Now, I've got to go back and fix something because this is his name. So that S does not need to be a little s. It needs to be a capital S. That's my mistake. So I had to go back and fix it. Smashy. And then there's a hyphen. And I'm going to have to drop down here for slashy. There's my first part. Ashy. Right? Ash. Sounds like an E, but it's a tricky, tricky Y. My A stick looks a little long. I'm going to fix it. Ashy. Oh, I did it again. Oh my goodness. I need you guys here to help me remember. Ashy. Ashy. Let's go back and read. Next came smashy, slashy, T-Rex. Let me show you how to make that T-Rex. Capital T, then a hyphen, because we're taking all that extra stuff out. Tyrannosaurus. We just need the T. Hyphen, and then Rex. T-Rex. Now that's the end of my first sentence. Next came smashy, slashy, T-Rex. Period. Now I'm ready for the talking part. So the talking part is going to work like this. When someone is talking, before they start talking, we've got to get the reader's attention and let them know, hey, you better pay attention. Somebody's getting ready to say something. So we need talking marks. They go at the top. So this is what he says. This is where I'll live. So this, and it's a new sentence. So how should my T look? Capital or lowercase? Capital, right? This should be a word that you know already. The. That says the. And then the little part is. You know that little part is the is. This is. You know that little part is. Is. You can write is. I bet you can write is fast. Make sure the it part comes first. This is where. W. Yep, and this time we need two letters to make the w sound. We need the WH. W. Error. Where? That looks weird to me. Does that look weird to you? It needs something else, doesn't it? That's all the sounds I hear. W-e-r. But it still doesn't quite look right. Wonder if there's a silent letter at the end. Oh, that looks much better. Don't you think so? So let's go back and read what he's going to say. This is where I'll, or I will. Let's do I will. So we all know how to make an I, and I is always, always, always capital because it's talking about yourself and you're super important. This is where I will. That's a word that you need to know how to write, and I'd say that you do. So I, oh, and it has two L's, will. This is where I will live. I bet we can figure out live. Don't you think so? Let's do live in boxes. Hold on, I've got to erase my board a little bit. Let's do live. Let's put the word live in boxes, okay? Live. There are 3 sounds in live, but there's 4 letters. Watch this. What do you hear first? L. Yep, I hear an L too. L. I, like igloo and iguana. I. L. I. V. V. What letter says V? There you go. Live. Live. But look, there's an empty box at the end. There's no sound, so it's a silent letter. What silent letter do we usually put at the ends of words? Yeah, silent E. Now we wrote it in boxes, live. Now we write it without boxes. Live. Excellent. Now we cover it up. Now we cover it up and try to write it without looking at it. Live. Here's the tricky part. Silent E. Did I get it? Did you get it? All right, now we write it really small. Live. Now we write it really fast. Iv. Haha. There it is. All right, let's add it to the story now. Here we go. This is where I will live. Leave a good space. Iv. Silent E. There's that tricky part. Now that's all that the smashy slashy T-Rex says. That's the end of our talking. But before we can use our talking word and tell who's talking, we have to pause for just a minute. Does anyone remember what that little mark is right there that tells us to pause for just a second? That's called a comma. Say comma. Comma, and it means to pause. Like I had to pause my video when my loud kids came smashing through the front door. Now, that's the end of the talking, so we've got to tell our reader that our character's done talking. Remember the talking marks at the beginning when it's like, hey, you better pay attention, somebody's getting ready to talk. We also put talking marks at the end to let our reader know, oh, okay, they're done talking now. Here's where they're going to start talking. Here's where they're finished talking. So, let's read the whole thing. Next came Smashy Slashy T-Rex. This is where I will live. Do you remember the word that I chose for T-Rex? Thundered. Oh my goodness, we can figure this one out. That sounds like a big word, but we can do this together. So the first part, th. Do you hear that at the beginning of thundered? Yeah, what 2 letters go th? It's a TH. Now, notice I did not start with a capital because this was not the end of my sentence. I stopped with a comma, and that just means pause. The sentence is still going on, so I don't need a capital yet. Let's listen. What letter says Yep, it's a U. All right. Fun. It's an N. All right. The und, d, d. That's a D. Remember, when you're writing a D, it points the same way as an A. You can make a C first and then add a stick. Make sure the round part comes first, okay? It's like an A with a really tall stick. All right, let's listen for the next part. Ready? The und, two letters that say like in belch, E-R. Now, we need to add an ending to make thundered. Here's our choices. Which ending do I need to make it say thundered? Do I need ing that says ing? Do I need ed? Or do I need s to make thundered? Well, I know this says ing, and I don't hear ing at the end of thundered. Do you? And I know this says, do you hear a at the end of thundered? Nope, I don't either. So guess which one we need? We need that ed. So here we go. Und, Here's our ending. Thundered. And again, check your D. It should point the same direction as your A, like in smashy and slashy and came. Make sure the round part comes first. So let's go back and read. This is where I will live, thundered T-Rex. We've already written T-Rex. Do you remember how? We need a capital T for the first part of his name. Then we need a hyphen to show that we've taken some of it out. We've shortened it. T, then R, X, T-Rex. Now that's the end of our sentence. What do we need? That means stop. Boop. I put a period. You could also use an excited mark if you want to. This is where I will live, thundered T-Rex. That might be a good choice. Could you use a question mark though? Are we asking a question? No, we're not. So that was fun writing today. Let me move this over, move my friend here. So our final story said, next came Smashy Slashy T-Rex. This is where I will live, thundered T-Rex. So we made up a funny name for him, like Munch Crunch and Hop Stop and Fleet Feet, right? He's Smashy Slashy T-Rex. And I chose a talking word that is the way that I think he would say it, right? Like a mouse squeaks and a frog croaks and he thunders. So nice job this week, guys. I believe everyone's ready for an AR test on the old man's mitten if you want to. I'll see you next week with another story.